before gracing one of the best fighters ever and future Hall of Famer, Manny "Pac-Man" Pacquiao. Legends like Gabriel "Flash" Elord and the great Seferino Garcia. There's the first Asian Filipino boxing world champion, Francisco Villarreal Galedo, aka Pancho Villa, years. Born on the island of Panay, while some sources said that his birthplace is in Negros Occidental in the Philippines. According to the International Boxing Hall of Fame.com, the Filipino fighter from Iloilo City, who is just over 5 feet tall, was explosive and unrelenting in the ring. He had 105 bouts, 173, lost 5, drew 4, 23 no decisions and 22 knockouts in his short boxing career of 6 years. Born on the island of Panay, Villa often fought with other boys in his village. His reputation with his fists brought him to the attention of promoter Frank Churchill in Manila. Impressed with the then 80-pound fighter, Churchill began handling Villa and, reportedly, named him after the famous Mexican bandit. Villa fought exclusively in the Philippines from 1919 through April 1922, often facing much larger men. In that time, he lost only 3 fights and captured 2 Filipino titles. In 1922, Churchill took Villa to the United States. The young Filipino fought 2 no-decision bouts in New Jersey, losing according to the newspapers to Abe Goldstein and Frankie Gennaro. The American press and public were at first slow to take notice of Villa. Churchill had difficulty arranging fights in major venues until, for almost no money, he got Villa and another Filipino, Elino Flores, on a card at Ebbets Field, home of the Brooklyn Dodgers. Each fighter won his bout, and the crowd gave Villa a standing ovation. 3 months after his arrival in the US, Villa knocked out Johnny Buff in 11 rounds to win the American flyweight title. Gennaro took the title back in 1923 in a 15-round decision that most observers believe belonged to Villa. Meanwhile, British flyweight champion Jimmy Wilde had come to New York seeking the world title. Although Gennaro was a likely opponent, the now wildly popular Villa was considered a better draw.
Giants of boxing history, Jimmy Wilde and Pancho Villa, meet in one of the epic struggles for the flyweight title.
On June 18, 1923, Francisco "Pancho Villa" Galedo beat Jimmy Wilde to become the world flyweight boxing champion, an accomplishment that was, and remains, a matter of great pride to Filipinos. In the match at New York's Polo Grounds, Villa displayed his relentless, attacking style, peppering Wilde with punches from both hands. In the 7th round, Villa battered Wilde to a state of helplessness, ending the fight and Wilde's career. Although a proposed rematch with Gennaro never took place, Villa defended his title several times in the US and the Philippines. Villa fought in a non-title bout with Jimmy McLarnin on July 4, 1925 in Oakland. Weak from the recent extraction of a wisdom tooth, Villa lost the decision. It was to be his last fight. New York Times, July 15, 1925, Villa died at a hospital here, San Francisco, today while undergoing an operation for an infection of the throat that developed from an infected tooth. Dr. C. Hoffman said the boxer suffocated under the anesthetic. Known during his time as being one of the cleanest fighters around, always showing concern for his opponents and always, after knocking a foe down, immediately turning away and walking to his corner. This was before rules requiring going to a neutral corner. In October 1961, Villa was added by Ring magazine to its own Boxing Hall of Fame. He was inducted belatedly into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1994, only the second Filipino boxer so honored after Gabriel "Flash" Elord, who was born nearly a decade after Villa's death. Villa was ranked the 59th best fighter by Ring magazine in 2002 in a list of the 80 best fighters of the last 80 years. Named Flyweight Fighter of the Century, along with Miguel Conto by the Associated Press in 1999. Bleacher Report named Pancho Villa number 66 greatest pound-for-pound boxers of all time in 2011. Although his career was short-lived due to unfortunate events, he showcased the relatively unknown Filipino determination and world-class talents not only in Asia but also in the international sports scene. Having the first Asian boxing champion is a huge pride to us Filipinos. Kudos to Francisco Galedo aka Pancho Villa for raising the Philippine pride around the world.